Have you ever wondered how is it that some guy from Brisbane ends up spending hours and hours and hours going through the primary sources of ancient Greece and ancient Rome and ancient Egypt and coming to the conclusion that maybe what we're being told about these ancient civilizations is not actually backed by any real evidence? Have you ever wondered that? Well, the thing is, I've been doing this now for years and years and years. I've been in this truth realm since 2014, and it's now 2018. And in the time that I've been here, this 3 or 4 years, I've mixed with a lot of people. And unfortunately, sometimes, because I like to ask questions and I like to point out that sometimes people's beliefs aren't really based on evidence, unfortunately, this has led to some friction with people with whom I don't actually have that much to disagree about. But somehow we've found ourselves clashing or butting heads, or that's a train in the background, by the way. We found ourselves not getting along when perhaps we should have. And I personally take the responsibility for that. I think once upon a time, I took all of this online stuff way too seriously. And in retrospect, if I had my time again, what I might have done is see all of these Google Hangouts and these Skype calls as more of a social outlet for people, for the other people involved, and for myself. And I think if you see it that way, you can enjoy yourself and get something out of the time without trying to focus too much on, what do we know? What's the evidence? What's the research? That's for me to do in my own time and to share with my audience on my website. But the regular people who I chat with in these Google Hangouts, there's no reason to bring them down with this stuff. And if I had my time again, I'd probably do things very differently. Fortunately, they were having a chat today. There was a random impromptu chat hosted by a guy called Josh, and he had with him Mr. Grim V and a lady called Influence Freedom. Now, I've had run-ins in the past with all three of these people, and yet today we managed to have a pretty fun conversation. It was enjoyable. We took a little trip down memory lane. And so the reason why I wanted to share this with you guys is because a lot of people who've signed up to the website recently, they won't know the background here. They won't know that there's a long journey that got me here today. I didn't start out as a normie and then suddenly, bang, I realized that dinosaurs and nuclear bombs and all of these things are questionable. It didn't happen instantly. There's been a path, and that path hasn't just been to do with research. There's been many other things involved as well, including these social dynamics, which I didn't understand properly at the time, but I think I understand better, much better now. And it's because of this better understanding that I was able to enjoy myself having a conversation with these people today. So what I want to do is I want to share with you guys right now just a small clip from that conversation. Again, this is myself and several other people, including three in particular who in the past we've had little run-ins, but today was a very enjoyable conversation. I'll put the link to the full chat in the info box below, but I just want to share with you right now a small clip, and interspersed within that will be a video that I released at the end of 2015. And in some ways, I remember this like it was yesterday, but in fact, it was more than 2 years ago. Can you believe that? So hopefully you enjoy this. This is me sharing with you some moments that I enjoyed today with people who I've known now online for a few years, and it's helping me to see that I have learned a lot in this time that I've been here, not just in terms of the research, but in terms of mixing with people. If you just take people for who they are and hope that they can take you for who you are, you can enjoy interacting with them, and there's no need to take all of this too seriously, which I am definitely guilty of having done in the past. So with all of that said, let me play the clip right now, and I'll be back at the end of the video. Hey, I've got to say something. There was something I wanted to mention to you, Josh, is that I realize now I used to take all of this shit way too seriously, right? And I think a lot of us did. I think a lot of us took all of this way too seriously.
Yeah.
And the truth is, there's just a few hundred people on the internet, and what do we all agree about? Oh, the TV lies sometimes. That's pretty much all we agree on.
You're
and
right.
somehow out of that grew an online cult with online conversions and all this other kinds of crazy shit. And all these factions and all these groups, tears, drama. Looking back, I find it all very amusing, and I just hope that you can find it amusing and other people can as well.
That's why we had the Lulz Awards, man. The Lulz Awards, what it was all about.
Yeah,
like
bro,
we laughed about it.
I won the most likely to be a paid shill award.
Yeah, you did. You did. And it was fucking. I'm glad you watched it, man. That's awesome. It was fucking.
It was one of the best things that I've seen on YouTube from this whole scene. You guys must have put in a lot of time for
We
all of
did
those. 'Cause you had a special
months.
nomination video for every single award, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
someone must have put in a lot of time for all of that.
Influence.
Aeon, everybody, Celery, everybody put in.
Everybody did their part, and
Yeah.
it was months of work. We talked about it for so long, and we couldn't come up with a solid idea. And we all, it was a team effort. Like, it was the veggies. Like, we did that, and it was, yeah, I'm proud of that. I want to put it back on my. You still got that influence?
I have all the individual clips. Yeah.
Does anybody have the full live
It
show?
wasn't because it wasn't like that. We went live with all the individual clips, and then we played the clips. But I don't know if anybody saved the.
Oh my god!
item. So, oh my god! And when Ryan's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, he said, "Fuck, fellow man," middle of the shit. Like, goddamn.
Oh my god.
That was the yeah, and you're right. And thank you, John LeBon. You know, I honestly had a smaller part in that in everybody else because I was out bone zoning my life away at that point, and you know, having a good time. But like, I was still like, I was listening in mostly, and Influence and Aeon and Smiley, I'd say, were the biggest contributors to that. And Celery, of course, Celery. You can't leave him out.
Yeah, and I really was mainly focused on making the troll art, the main picture thing. So that's what I was doing, was building in Blender with models.
I got to do the intro.
Yeah, Jay did the intro. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
fun.
like a terrific project that you guys did, and I even cut out the clip of me winning the biggest, most likely to be a shill award, and I re-uploaded it to my channel. And then I even overlaid. Because do you guys remember how there was that photo of Derek Friesel? It was supposedly that Derek Friesel was Jeffrey C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a picture of Derek Friesel and overlaid it over the trophy. So the trophy that I won was a golden Jeffrey.
Most likely to be a shill award.
Oh.
Down here.
I know I voted for this one.
I got my whole page right here. Shoot.
Money for nothing. Yeah. Breadcrumbs. That's all it was.
Look at them yo-yos, that's the way you do it. Play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working, that's the way you do it. Money for nothing when you choose.
Hello, everyone.
No, that ain't working, that's the way you do it. Let me tell you, damn guys ain't dumb. Maybe get a blister on your little finger. Maybe get a blister on your
Come on, man.
Everyone's a shill
All right,
here.
maybe this month.
Too
Oh
funny.
man,
Who won? Who won there? Who
All
won?
right.
let's hear that one because I'm very curious.
Come on, Red
You want to know who's a
Pill.
shill? Well, not everyone.
Some of the nominees.
Come on, Red Pill.
I don't agree with
I
some.
guessed correctly, and John LeBon is actually.
Oh yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yes. Jeff C comes close though, you know. Well, Jeff C and John LeBon.
But Jeff C is like an emotional show where John LeBon is like MI5 like counterpart, you know?
Yeah, John was on Nazi Beach TV, guys.
I can see
Come on,
that.
guys! Australian Roundtable Podcast. Australian Roundtable Podcast. Australian- he just says it every.
You love me. You really love me. You're not going anywhere.
Oh man, that's good
That's good
times.
stuff.
Bro, it was good times. That's the thing. There was a lot of creativity at the time. There were people who were enthusiastic and creative, and a lot of us believed, like I believed, that this We'll Do It Live is going to keep getting bigger. People are going to learn that the news is lying to us. A lot of us really believed in it, and we had so much energy for it. And so it's funny looking back now. Like Josh, you're 31, I'm 30 now. We're all a few years older, a little bit less youthful and naive, and I look back on those times fondly, man. I really do.
Yeah,
It's
I do too. I do too.
Great learning experience.
huge learning experience, man. Like even just seeing people break down on the air because two of their online friends are having a fight. Like what the hell is going on here? You know, I never would have believed any of this stuff if I hadn't seen it. Like if I tried to tell people in my real life what I've been doing for the last 4 years, there's no way they'd believe me. There's no way.
I have tried to tell real people in my real life what's going on. They're like, "You're fucking stupid. Like, why worry about this shit?"
So we'll leave it there. And so you saw the clip. What I did was, let me explain. A lot of these guys, they were part of this We'll Do It Live crew. And this was a podcast that was big back in 2014. And it was basically the podcast that inspired me to start the ARP. And of course, once I started the ARP, then I started my own YouTube channel, which eventually led to the website, which led to me doing the work that I'm doing now. So you can see the almost like a linear progression that's taken place there. And a lot of these guys were involved in the We'll Do It Live show, which was a weekly Google Hangout, which fell apart for reasons that I don't have time to go into right now. But what they did was they had this awards show at the end of 2015. I think it was into 2015. And I won an award. I won that Golden Jeffrey, as you saw. So I took their clip of the most likely to be a shill, which they awarded to me, and I turned it into a video to try and have fun with it. Because even though I was taking all of this too seriously, I was still trying to have fun with it. And I guess now that I've had more time to reflect on all of this and get a better understanding of what brings people here and what we can really expect from our fellow so-called truth seekers, now that I feel more at peace with all of that, I can also have a conversation with these guys, and it really was a terrific conversation. So if you want to go and listen to that, the link is in the info box below. But I guess one of the major motivations that I had for making this video this evening was to help share with those of you who aren't aware of how this all came to be, There were many personal dramas and spats and cliques and power dynamics and all of this kind of crazy shit where a lot of people were taking this so-called truth movement very seriously. And even though I never considered myself part of a truth movement, I definitely did believe that people using the internet could somehow change the broader world. And even though I'm still very much open-minded to that, I now see that that is probably a very naive notion that that's ever going to happen. So I thought it was terrific that I could have this conversation this afternoon, my time, with Josh and with Influence Freedom and with Mr. Grim V, all people who I've had, little personal spats with in the past, and we had a terrific conversation. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think if I had my time again, I would have left the Google Hangouts for socializing and not worrying too much about the research, and focused all the research on my website, which is ultimately what I've done. And so these days, if I want to discuss primary source research methodology and what happens when we apply that to what we're told is ancient history, I can do that on my website. And people who are interested in real research, they can go to the website. Whereas most people really just want to have a chat and have fun and have a laugh, and that's entirely understandable. And I had a good time this afternoon focusing on having a laugh and reminiscing and these kinds of things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link in the info box below, like I said, so you can go and check out the full chat on Josh's channel. I did try and run a few things past the other participants, like how do we know that war is real? How do we know that history is real? How do we know that dinosaurs are real? How do we know that nuclear bombs are real? I did throw that to them, but because we'd already had fun having a laugh for half an hour or what have you, people were more receptive to it. Whereas in the past, I sort of used to hit people with these things right at the start, like, how do you know nukes are real? Do you believe nukes are still real? Do you still believe that? And it just wasn't as social as it could have been. So with all of that said, on the 11th of January 2018, like I said, in the info box below, go and check out the link to Josh's chat. He's a nice guy, Josh. I've always thought that. I've always thought that he and I had a lot more in common than we had in disagreement or what have you. And it was a truly pleasant experience to chat with him today. So big thanks to Josh. Go and check out the link in the info box below. And for my third video of 2018, we'll leave it there. John LeBon on January 11, 2018. And until next time, you guys, take care of yourselves.